My friends, I've been a bit sick these past few days with the flu, but thank God I'm getting better. I couldn't even look at the computer, honestly. Anyway, let's get to the news. The atmosphere around the New England Patriots changed the moment mandatory minicamp officially began. Unlike OTAs, this was the point where everyone under contract was expected to be in the building, giving fans their first real look at the team coming together. And while there were plenty of encouraging moments on the field, there was also one storyline that immediately raised questions and could become one of the biggest talking points of the offseason. The Patriots had nearly everyone present, which is exactly what the coaching staff wanted to see. Several players whose situations had been monitored closely showed up, demonstrating their commitment to the team as preparations continue. Gonzalez was present, although his participation was limited, and Kayshon Boutte took part fully in practice. That alone sent a positive message about the locker room and the culture being built, but one notable absence stood out above everything else. Edge rusher Gabe Jackas was nowhere to be found during minicamp, and the explanation only created more uncertainty instead of clearing things up. According to comments made by head coach Mike Vrabel, Jackas had undergone a procedure and remains unsigned. Even more surprising, Vrabel revealed that he has not spoken face-to-face with the player at the team facility since the NFL draft. That means more than a month has passed without significant interaction inside the building. The repeated responses from Vrabel did little to calm concerns. Each time he was questioned, he emphasized the same facts. Jackas is not there, he is not under contract, and he had a procedure. No additional details were offered, leaving plenty of room for speculation while providing very few answers. For Patriots fans, this situation is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Rookie development is critical during this stage of the offseason, especially for players expected to compete for meaningful roles. Every practice represents an opportunity to learn the system, build chemistry with teammates, and adjust to the speed of the NFL. Missing valuable time could eventually have consequences once training camp begins. If the absence continues, New England may eventually have to consider additional depth at the edge position. While nothing official suggests that scenario is imminent, it is impossible to overlook the fact that one of the team's young defensive additions is currently away from football activities during such an important developmental period. Fortunately for Patriots fans, the uncertainty surrounding one player was balanced by outstanding performances elsewhere on the field. Drake Maye looked completely locked in during minicamp. After impressing during previous practices, he once again delivered an exceptional showing, throwing with confidence, accuracy, and control throughout the session. His command of the offense appeared to be growing with every snap, and observers described it as one of his strongest performances in front of reporters. Maye completed nearly every pass he attempted, finishing the day with only 3 incompletions. One of those came on a screenplay disrupted by defensive pressure, making the overall performance even more impressive. More importantly, he consistently pushed the ball downfield, showing comfort operating the offense while making quick decisions. Several of his throws highlighted both his arm talent and his growing chemistry with his playmakers. He connected on deep touchdown passes to Hunter Henry and Rhamondre Stevenson, while also delivering a perfectly placed back shoulder fade to A.J. Brown for another score. Those types of throws require timing, trust, and anticipation, all signs that this offense is beginning to find its rhythm much earlier than many expected. Perhaps the most exciting takeaway is not simply that Drake Maye had a great practice, but that he appears to be developing into the leader this franchise desperately needs. His confidence seems to be growing. His teammates are responding to him, and every report coming out of minicamp suggests that he is taking another significant step forward. If these early signs continue throughout training camp, Patriots fans could be watching the foundation of an offense capable of competing at a much higher level than it did a year ago. The combination of improved chemistry, better execution, and a quarterback playing with increasing confidence may become one of the defining stories of this season. But before jumping to conclusions, one major question still hangs over this team. Can the excitement surrounding Drake Maye and the offense outweigh the growing uncertainty surrounding Gabe Jackas and his absence from the organization? Or could that unresolved situation become a bigger problem as training camp gets closer? What do you think? One player who continues to generate enormous excitement is A.J. Brown, and every report coming out of minicamp suggests that his impact is already being felt throughout the offense. From the moment practice began, he lined up as the first wide receiver on the field, making it clear that he is establishing himself as a focal point of the passing attack. The chemistry between Brown and Drake Maye appears to be growing every single day. That relationship could become one of the biggest reasons for optimism heading into the season. Throughout practice, the two repeatedly connected, and the highlight everyone was talking about came on a spectacular back shoulder fade for a touchdown from roughly 20 yards away. Although video of the play has yet to surface publicly, the descriptions alone have Patriots fans eager to see exactly what happened. Brown reportedly finished the session with multiple receptions while consistently creating separation and showing why he is viewed as a true number one receiver. More importantly, observers noted how engaged he was throughout practice, encouraging teammates and celebrating successful plays. That type of leadership can be just as valuable as production on the field, especially for a team trying to establish a new offensive identity. The developing connection between Brown and Maye could become one of the defining storylines of the entire season. Quarterbacks need receivers they trust in critical moments, and receivers need quarterbacks willing to give them opportunities even when coverage is tight. Every practice rep helps build that trust, and minicamp offered another encouraging sign that both players are moving in the right direction together. At the same time, another receiver quietly continued to make his own case for a major role. Pop Douglas once again led the team in receptions during practice, hauling in 5 catches and consistently finding space underneath the defense. His ability to create separation in the short and intermediate areas gives the offense another reliable option, especially in situations where quick decisions are necessary. The competition for offensive touches should only make this group stronger. With multiple receivers proving themselves and developing chemistry with Drake Maye, the Patriots offense appears to have significantly more versatility than many expected entering the offseason. Attention also shifted toward the offensive line, where injuries and positional flexibility are creating interesting developments. Morgan Moses did not participate after previously dealing with an issue during OTAs, opening the door for rookie Caleb Blomstrom to receive valuable first-team repetitions at right tackle. Those snaps could prove extremely important for the young lineman. Not only did he work with the starting unit on the right side, but he also took reps at left tackle with the second team. That versatility suggests the coaching staff views him as someone capable of filling multiple roles if needed throughout the season. The possibility of a swing tackle role would already be valuable, but if Blomstrom continues performing at a high level while Moses remains unavailable, a legitimate competition for playing time could eventually emerge. Training camp often reshapes depth charts, and opportunities like these have launched careers before. Meanwhile, Elijah Vera Tucker continues working his way back from his triceps injury. While still rotating and not yet taking every rep, his increasing workload is another encouraging sign for a unit expected to be much stronger than last season. The Patriots understand the importance of having continuity up front, and carefully managing his recovery now could pay significant dividends once meaningful games begin. Another situation worth monitoring involves Christian Gonzalez. Although he attended minicamp and participated in individual work, he did not take part in full team drills. Considering his contract situation, that decision makes perfect sense from both the player's perspective and the organization's long-term interests. Perhaps the most encouraging part of the day came from Gonzalez himself. When asked about his future, he made it absolutely clear that he wants to remain in New England. He expressed his desire to be rewarded by the franchise that drafted him and emphasized how much he enjoys playing for the city, the coaches, and his teammates. Those comments should resonate strongly with Patriots fans. Elite talent is difficult to find, and players who openly want to spend their careers with one organization are even rarer. Gonzalez has already established himself as one of the most important defensive pieces on the roster, making his future contract one of the franchise's highest priorities. The front office now faces an important opportunity. Locking up one of the team's cornerstone defenders would provide stability for years to come while sending a strong message throughout the locker room about rewarding homegrown talent. As minicamp continues, the Patriots leave the practice field with several reasons for optimism. Drake Maye is playing outstanding football, A.J. Brown is quickly becoming the centerpiece of the receiving corps, Pop Douglas continues producing, young offensive linemen are stepping up, and Christian Gonzalez has reaffirmed his commitment to the organization. There are still questions that need answers, particularly regarding Gabe Bacus and his absence, but there is no denying that many of the pieces fans hope to see are beginning to come together. The foundation appears to be taking shape, and every practice provides another glimpse of what this team could become if these positive trends continue into training camp and eventually the regular season. Even with all the positive developments coming out of mandatory minicamp, the biggest takeaway may be that this roster is finally starting to develop a clear identity. Throughout the practice sessions, there was a noticeable emphasis on execution, communication, and consistency. Those are the traits every successful team builds upon during the offseason, and they were evident in multiple areas of the field. One of the strongest signs of progress was the way the offense operated with Maye under center. Rather than relying on one spectacular play, the unit consistently moved the ball through accurate timing and efficient decision-making. Every successful completion helped reinforce the growing confidence between the quarterback and his receivers, something that can only improve with more repetitions during training camp. A.J. Brown's presence changes the dynamic of the offense in several ways. Defenses will have to account for him on every snap, creating opportunities for other playmakers to exploit favorable matchups. At the same time, his ability to make difficult catches gives the quarterback a reliable option when plays break down or coverage becomes tight. Even in a practice setting, that type of connection is encouraging because it demonstrates trust that cannot be developed overnight. Pop Douglas continuing to produce also gives the coaching staff flexibility. An offense becomes much harder to defend when multiple receivers can contribute, forcing opposing defenses to spread their attention instead of focusing on a single target. As minicamp progresses, every successful route and every completed pass helps establish the rhythm this offense hopes to carry into the regular season. The offensive line deserves attention as well because its development could ultimately determine how successful the entire offense becomes. Caleb Blomstrom taking valuable snaps with the starters demonstrates that the coaching staff is preparing for multiple scenarios. Versatility across the offensive line is one of the most valuable assets a team can have during a long NFL season, especially when injuries inevitably occur. Meanwhile, Elijah Vera Tucker gradually increasing his workload offers another reason for optimism. Recovering players often require patience, and the Patriots appear committed to bringing him along carefully instead of rushing the process. If he returns at full strength, his experience and talent could become a major stabilizing force for the offensive front. Defensively, Christian Gonzalez remains one of the franchise's most important building blocks. His decision to attend minicamp despite his contract situation speaks volumes about his commitment to the organization and his teammates. Even though he limited his participation during team drills, his presence around the facility sends a positive message to the locker room. His public comments expressing his desire to remain in New England only strengthened the belief that both sides want a long-term agreement.